That was Audrey Diaz with that report. Delighted to say Martin Hibbert joins us now. Martin, morning to you.
Good
now,
morning.
you more than anyone obviously understand the complexities of living with a spinal cord injury. You were paralysed in the Manchester arena attack in 2017. And just hearing what Audrey's going there, I mean, you are working on this now, aren't you? Tell us in what context.
So Rebecca's story, unfortunately, we hear it, hundreds of times a day, and obviously I've been through it myself, and I think kind of what happens at the moment, people like myself with a spinal cord injury, we go to hospital, the NHS, who do an amazing job, save our lives, they put us back together, they get us ready to be able to leave hospital, but that's when the problems start.
I suppose because when you're in hospital, you've got someone who's doing everything, or at least helping you,
well,
rehabilitating you.
So a spinal cord injury is a very complex condition, and that's where the issues start. So the NHS do an amazing job. They put us back together, they get us ready to leave hospital. But what they then are not able to do is then be with us every day in the normal things that happen in life, and that's the issue. So obviously I'm Vice President of the Spinal Injuries Association, a charity that I'm very passionate about, and you guys know about, that their mantra is that we enable everybody with a spinal cord injury to live a fulfilled life, like I do. And that's the big frustration, because we hear stories like Rebecca's every day where people leave hospital and they go into this abyss where there isn't the help and the support. So what the Spinal Injuries is saying, look, we've got this charity ready-made to go from day one. So let's be the baton bearer. Let's be that partner from day one, so that when somebody is ready to leave hospital, the Spinal Injuries Association take over, so we can be a patient advocate. We can be there to make the decisions on health, care and support. We can help them get back into work. We can help them start driving. All the things that you just seem like, a million miles away. We can help with that. So that's what we want to do. We want and we need almost like a patient advocate, a patient representative from day one. And what that will do, not only will it help people with spinal cord injuries get back to living a fulfilled life, but in the current climate when the health and care system is under so much strain, it'll save time, money and beds. Because people with spinal cord injuries aren't then coming back into hospital because they haven't got the knowledge, they haven't got the education. You get a stage 4 pressure ulcer, you can be back in hospital for 2 years.
What are the things that, people think, well, you've lost your ability to walk, you have to use a wheelchair, but what are the other complications that result?
When you look at me, you sit, and quite rightly, spinal cord injury, I think people understand that it is paralysis, so I can't use my legs. But if you're a tetraplegic, you can use the use of your arms. So can you imagine that, not being able to use your, like I just got out of my chair into this seat. For some people with spinal cord injuries, that's just not possible without a carer and things like that. So that's what we want to get across, that, yes, it is paralysis, paraplegia, it is loss of limbs, but actually there's a lot of unknown conditions. So like with me, like the urinary tract infections that's then turned into sepsis, that's a life-threatening condition. Pressure ulcers, where you can be in hospital for 2 years on bed rest. The cost to the NHS and to the health and care system is, I think it's something like £3.8 million a day the NHS spend on pressure ulcers. It doesn't, you put that in a calculator, that's a lot of money. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to, we snap a wand and, it all goes away, but what we're saying is, and this is the frustration, that, this amazing charity, the Spinal Injuries Association, we're set up, we're ready, we've got peer support officers, we've got people like Simon Pennell who helped Rebecca get the care that she needed. We've got mental health support, we've got spinal nurses that can help people with spinal cord injuries get back into the community.
So the government says it's putting £5.4 billion in to reform adult social care in the next 3 years. It's going to recruit more carers. Do you see coming through that pipeline what you need, or are you saying actually the money needs to be diverted another way?
We're seeing it, but what we're saying is bring the Spinal Injuries Association into those talks, because it's not just, like Rebecca said, it's not just about getting a carer. What you need is a carer that understands the complex needs of a spinal cord injury, and that's the issue. Now, we can help with that, but actually we've got our own people within the Spinal Injuries Association that can help. So let's partner from day one. Let's come in so that we can help, be the baton bearer at the end, and then we can take the patients and get them back into the community and not back into a hospital bed.
One of the things I learnt when I was reading the notes as well is with a spinal injury, a spinal cord injury, OK, right, it gets your body to a level, but it can worsen. It's not just that it stops, so,
Exactly.
you know, that's that, and also forgetting the other issues, the other secondary kind of physical issues. Yeah. But it can worsen, and that is so important.
Yeah, that's it. And, you know, a spinal cord injury, unfortunately, it's not curable, you know, and obviously as I get older, my health will deteriorate, you know, that's a fact. So, yes, I'm fit and strong now, I've climbed Kilimanjaro, I'm doing all these things, but, you know, I know, and, you know, my spinal consultant says, you know, over the next 10, 15 years, I'm going to need help and care and support. You know, a lot of people have seen my wife, Gabby, you know, same size as you know, she struggles to lift my legs. You know, so if I, you know, my wife became my carer overnight. You know, that's the, you know, that's what's happening. You know, you leave hospital, you don't get the care and support. Your wife, your husband, your son, your daughter becomes your carer. They don't get a book. They don't get the education, the knowledge. That's when charities like the Spinal Injuries Association is so important.
And there are 50,000 people with a spinal injury in this country.
You know, and you know that doesn't stop because of a pandemic or because it's snowing outside. You know, those 7 people a day still continue. You know, so that's why this charity that I'm vice president of, you know, is so important. And you know, that's what we're doing in 2023. You know, hopefully getting in front of the minister to say, look, you know, this isn't about throwing money at it. It's just about bringing us into the care on day one so that we can take over, you know, be the baton bearer from when people leave hospital to stop them coming back into hospital.
Martin, it's always good to talk to you.
You too.
Thanks very much
Have
for
a good Christmas.
highlighting
You
these
too,
issues.
thank
Yes,
you.
enjoy
Thanks
the
as
festive
always.
period. You heard Martin say that he did climb Kilimanjaro, and Martin's mountain, Conquering Kilimanjaro, is available. It's a good watch to watch on BBC